Hi there, I'm Whitney Smith, and we are discussing today the Ontario Security Guard training syllabus, and we specifically are breaking down the various sections. So today we're going to talk about Section 8, Legal Authorities, and what you can expect in your Security Guard training course to learn in this section. So we're going to go through the section overview here. So we're going to focus on the broader legal context of private security to instruct you on rights and limitations while performing duties as a security guard. We're going to explain where a security guard derives your authority from and how to carry out your job functions. So this is quite a large section in terms of its size, but the information that you're learning is very important. So this is one you absolutely need to pay attention to. So some of the things you're going to be learning here is the procedures for handling, storing, disseminating, and destroying information for a personal nature. Address the relevant sections of the Personal Information Protection and Electronic Documents Act, PIPEDA, regarding the protection of personal information. I'm going to outline the relevant sections of the following legislation: Employment Standard Act 2000, Labor Relations Act 1995, Liquor License Act, Provincial Offences Act, Residential Tenancies Act 2006, and Trespass to Property Act. So one very important key here, a lot of this legislation, as you can see, is 1995, 2000, 2006. The PSISA itself was 2005. The PSISA is currently under review for an update, and likely so are a lot of these other things. So as of March 2026, this is the information, but this is probably all going to be changed in the next few years because it's quite outdated. So we want to make sure that we're always paying attention to, in the security industry, any changes that you see. So whether or not it's required, with once you're licensed and you already have the license, whether or not you're told to go back to that and look at it or not, you should still. It is very important that you understand the rules, the laws, and the guidelines that surround the industry and keep you safe. So then we're going to talk about the following information with respect to the Criminal Code of Canada. So we're going to explain the difference between indictable and summary offenses, and as a security guard, your authority to arrest, i.e. a citizen's arrest. List the common types of offenses encountered by security guards. Review the sections of the code regarding defense of property and defense of persons. Explain criminal harassment, mischief, assault, theft, causing disturbances, breaking and entering, and possession of stolen property under the code. And explain the common elements of tort law in security situations. So security guards are only expected to be aware of the legislation as it pertains to their roles. So you don't have to know every single thing if it doesn't have anything to do with the security role particularly. So the primary focus is going to be on best practices with respect to acquiring information to resolve security issues in the context of relevant legislation. Then, of course, we're going to talk about PIPEDA, handling information. Security guards frequently deal with the collection, storage, dissemination, and destruction of information. So we're going to discuss the procedures and regulations with respect to managing information and explain how to keep information secure while ensuring that it's maintained in a manner consistent with PIPEDA. Then we're going to talk about that additional legislation. So again, that Employment Standard Act, Labor Relations Act, Liquor License Act, Provincial Offences Act, Residential Tenancies, and the Trespass to Property Act. So we're going to provide a brief brief introduction to the relevant sections of each act. We're going to address the risks and dangers associated with private security and describe how each act can impact the safety and effectiveness on site. We're going to discuss issues of liability to ensure that you understand how to complete your duties with lawful authority. And we're going to address whose authority a security guard is acting on, the agent of the property or the property owner, and the differences in private versus public property. Then, of course, we're going to discuss the Criminal Code of Canada. So you may encounter situations that lead you to deal with indictable, summary, or criminal offenses. You need to be able to accurately identify and categorize offenses when you're on duty and understand how to perform a citizen's arrest according to the Criminal Code of Canada. We're going to introduce you to the code with the context of liability, duty of care, and lawful authority. Defense of property and defense of persons will also be discussed. Then, of course, we're going to talk about tort law. So security guards must ensure that they're completing their job within their lawful authority. So we're going to explain the common elements of tort law in security situations. So again, this one is the largest basically being that 7.5 hours. So it's really key that you understand this one and you pay attention in it. If you miss something while you're learning it, go back again, go back one more time, go back another time. If you're not catching something that is relevant to what you're going to be working in, especially if we're talking about the Liquor License Act. So, that might not seem relevant on certain sites, but if you're working at, let's say, a resort and somebody takes a bottle of booze and they leave a sectioned off area of like a restaurant, well, then now you're running into maybe something that violates the procedures for that site, but also they've left an area where their liquor license only contains, let's say, an outside area and where the tables are, and maybe there's a fence, something like that. So you need to know all the different sites you're going to be working on, what you're legally going to need to do. And so that is the review of what you will learn in Section 8 Legal Authorities of the Ontario Security Guard Training Course. And this is from the syllabus. So thank you for watching.